If you want to know who controls you, observe who you are not allowed to criticize. For example, a friend at work is publicly protected by management. Nobody dares to point out his mistakes. If you want to know where the lies are, look at where you're not allowed to question. For example, a colleague changes the topic every time someone asks about a team decision. If you want to know who's guilty, look for the person who's demanding silence. For example, after a costly error, one teammate insists, "We don't talk about this," and everyone falls quiet. If you want to know what real power is, observe those who escape consequences. For example, a member of the group repeatedly avoids responsibility while others are held accountable. If you want to know who will betray you, look for those who will benefit when you lose. For example, a coworker offers help publicly, then takes your role when a project fails. If you really want to know who you are to them, look at how they treat you when they no longer need you. For example, a friend calls only when they need advice, then disappears when you stop being useful. If you want to know where the rot is, look at where the truth is being punished. For example, someone who reported a problem is sidelined while the issue is ignored. If you want to know what's real, look at what's erased before you can even question it. For example, a group chat message is deleted right after someone asks about a decision. If you want to know who owns the future, see who decides what may be remembered. For example, an older relative retells family stories and excludes certain events from the record. If you really want to know what's truly dangerous, see what cannot exist in public. For example, a local group shuts down any discussion that questions the leader's actions. What is never named actually shapes the world much more than what is loudly declared. For example, unspoken agreements among friends determine who is included and who is left out. The simplest truths can be the hardest to accept. For example, one friend admits a small truth about the past and everyone avoids acknowledging it. Control is often a whisper, not a shout. For example, a casual comment at a meeting becomes the new rule everyone follows. If any of this landed for you, read the full picture in my book. Deeper stories and clear steps to reclaim your voice. For a limited time, it's discounted by $5. Get your copy now. The link is the first item in the description, and it's shown on screen and pinned under the video. What is invincible is always more powerful than what is visible. For example, a quiet network of favors protects someone even when their mistakes are obvious. The most dangerous knowledge is what you realize alone. For example, that quiet feeling that something is wrong with one person changes how you see every interaction. The easiest person to control is the one who doesn't notice. For example, a friend who never questions ads or repeated claims is easily influenced. Society punishes those who notice too much, not those who act wrongly. For example, a colleague is mocked for pointing out a problem while the person at fault keeps their status. Freedom is an illusion you're told to cherish but never hold. For example, free expression at work exists only until someone challenges the accepted narrative. What you refuse to question already owns you. For example, accepting "that's just how it's done" locks you into other people's rules. Silence often kills more than violence. For example, ignoring an early warning from a friend allows a small issue to become a crisis. Fear is the lock. Ignorance is the key. For example, people avoid raising a topic at meetings because they fear the fallout, and the subject never gets addressed. The more a society claims it's free, the more invisible those chains are. For example, a community that praises liberty still enforces unwritten rules on its members. Laws are never meant to protect, they're meant to control. For example, a vague workplace rule is applied to whistleblowers while allies go unpunished. The quietest tyrannies are the ones everyone enforces. For example, a small social norm is kept alive by subtle pressure from friends and coworkers. The system only needs your silence to survive. For example, one friend who knows the truth but stays quiet keeps the pattern going.